Okay, good evening, everybody. Good evening, and welcome to this first orientation call for our book and blog authority course. And this is a bonus for those of you who purchased over Christmas break the Offline Firesale 2.0. And so what we're going to do here in this orientation call, actually going to be redoing this orientation call again on Thursday. So if you're listening to this by archive and you think, well, I really would have liked to have, I would have preferred to have been there live, don't worry, you can still attend live. I'll be doing this again on Thursday evening, January 4th at 9 o'clock Eastern, January 3rd, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Okay, so let's kind of go through a few things. I don't want to keep you long. I just want to give you just an indication or kind of give you a good idea of what we are going to be doing. And so I'm going to switch over to my presentation here. Okay, so for those of you who are here, could you let me know if you can see my slide presentation by just putting a Y in the question box? If you can see the slide presentation now, you just put a Y in the question box. That'll help me, and then I will be able to kind of go forward there. And if you let me know you can hear me clearly, then I will then go forward with all due speed. Okay, very good. So you can see my screen, and you can also hear me very well. Okay, so in the blog authorship course, what are we going to be talking about? Obviously, those of you who are here, most if not all of you are marketing consultants. You are either consulting with small businesses or with independent businesses to offer them services in mobile marketing or in offline marketing. And when we say offline marketing, we could be talking about anything from reputation management. We could be talking about search engine optimization. We could be talking about list building. We could be talking about just about anything, joint ventures, anything with respect to marketing online. That's what we call the offline marketer here in our field. And as an offline marketer, as a consultant, it's assumed that you are an expert in marketing. Now, you know, when you go to someone and you tell them that you are a consultant, right, that they can come to you for advice on marketing, it's assumed that you are a consultant. And so most, if not all of you, I gather, are spending a lot of time making sure that you understand how to help these businesses get more traffic. Right now, a lot of what you're doing might be, you might be spending a lot of time marketing your business, but at some level, you are considered to know more than the business owners that you're helping. Does that make sense? If that makes sense, I want you to put a Y in the question box. If that makes sense to you. Okay, good. And so you know that from having been out there, there's a lot of competition. I mean, you've got other offline marketers, right, that you're competing with. You've got folks out there who are calling on businesses. I know I run into people from the Yellow Pages. Now, I might not necessarily consider them good competition, but they're out there. So if you're out there, you probably run into folks from the Yellow Pages. And really, I'm not just talking about the United States. I know some of you all listening, you're there in the UK or from Australia. It's pretty much the same thing. You're running into folks from Yellow Pages also, as well as some of the larger outfits providing representatives of big services trying to expand into small businesses. I know even here in my little town in Harrisburg, PA, the newspaper here has gone to publishing itself 3 days a week, but what they're also doing is they're building websites for small businesses. Now, they are just atrocious, to be honest. However, they're out there. And so they're looking to expand into what you and I are doing. And so there appear to be fairly low barriers to entry. How many of you all know what that means? You have done economics. You've heard the term barriers to entry, right? So the barriers to enter our field, you don't have to have a certification, right, to be an offline marketer. You don't necessarily have to have any kind of degree to be a marketing consultant. You pretty much go out and say that you're an expert, you're a marketing consultant, and you're pretty much an expert or a marketing consultant. But what that also means is that there aren't a lot of barriers to somebody else coming in and saying that they're an expert. Does that make sense? Yeah, and so that means then that in what we do, the barriers to entry are fairly low. You also probably running into SEO providers. How many of you all get messages from some of the outfits in India and some of the outfits in the Philippines that will say, or Skype requests that will say, hey, I can do your SEO for, excuse me, for $200 a month, $125 a month, and I'll give you so many services for that. How many of you all are getting those messages? I know I do. You probably are getting them also. Yeah, a couple of you. Oh, several of you are getting those messages. So in other words, there are people who are out there who are looking to do what it is that you say that you do for small businesses. And if you're getting those email messages, you can pretty much bet that the folks that you're calling on, they're getting those emails also. Okay, so let's move on. So why do you need to have a book, and why do you need to have a book as an authority, and why does it make a difference for you? Well, we just talked about one of the main differences, right? There are relatively low barriers to entry in our marketplace. So for someone to come into the market and say, I know some SEO, or I spent a little time on the Warrior Forum, I'm willing to go and give it a shot. And even though that might mean that they might not know what you know, just by virtue of them saying that they are and putting up a website, pretty much says to the customer that they are your competition. So when you put out a book, you're not necessarily trying to make money selling the book, right? The reason for you to be an author is not necessarily for you to make money from your book. You make money because of your book. Okay, does everyone understand the difference? Okay, the idea is not for you to make money from your book, even though that's nice, right? You can make some royalties, but you're not trying to get rich from your book necessarily. You're looking to make money because of your book. You're looking to be thought of as an authority. And if it does take some time, and it does take some effort to get a book published. I don't care who you are or how much PLR you're buying. It takes effort to be able to do that. And you are probably, I don't have the exact statistics. I will get them for the next webinar. But you're probably putting yourself into probably a 5% category of consultants who are willing to have a book written or published. Right now, you might have heard my last video where I talked about Robert Kiyosaki. And I talked about Robert Kiyosaki because, excuse me, the reason I mentioned Robert Kiyosaki is because of this. Robert Kiyosaki, as you know, how many of you all have read or heard of the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad? Most of us have. How many of you have either heard of or read the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad? Okay, some of you. Oh, no, a lot of you. Excellent. Very good. Robert Kiyosaki wrote that book, and it turned out to be a big hit nationwide and even worldwide. But the point of him writing the book wasn't necessarily to sell a book. The point of writing the book was to set you up to buy his $200 board game. Right now, how many of you all who are listening, right, you would volunteer to look for a board game to pay $200 for? Now, I know some of you all will say, you know, you sort of know where I'm going with this. You'll say, well, certainly I would want to know what the board game is all about. But no, you wouldn't. More than likely, before that board game came out, none of us would even consider paying $200 for a board game. I don't care how much you thought it was worth. But what Robert Kiyosaki did with the book, and what he was looking to do, was to get the book in as many people's hands as he could, right? And he got it out there pretty much through word of mouth, get that book in as many hands as he could so that people would be willing to go out and pay $200 for a board game, right? Where he had to recover, I think, something on the order of maybe $300,000 of development cost. So the fact that he set the price at $200 is reasonable to him. It just wasn't reasonable to the marketplace, to expect that somebody's going to pay $200 for a board game. So Robert Kiyosaki wrote a book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And of course, the book and the game were huge successes. And so you can carry that same principle into what you're doing, right? You can carry that same principle into what you're doing. Now, how many of you may have heard of Malcolm Gladwell? Okay, he wrote the book Outliers. And in Outliers, he talked about the fact that it takes 10,000 hours or 10 years to become an expert in anything, right? And as well as the book The Tipping Point. And so in that book, what he was saying was, he was giving people a new formula for success. Now, the point of my telling you this isn't to point to that being the key to your success as a consultant. My point in telling you this is because by doing this, Malcolm Gladwell took a very simple formula in his book and he made the complex success technology and made it simple for everybody to understand. Now, Malcolm Gladwell was obviously a graduate student and a professor, but he took this theory and he made it understandable to everyone, and that's what made The Tipping Point, as well as Outliers, a very popular book. It was an effort to make the complex simple, and you're going to be accomplishing the same thing with your book. So what's the goal of this course? The goal of the course is for you to write a DIY or an ebook in a marketing area of your niche. Now, you can obviously make it as long or expansive as you want, but the point is for you to write something focused in your niche as well as to have your own authority blog. Now, we're going to be doing some things with some software, and you're going to do a little bit at a time, and we're going to develop a little community around this. But basically, the idea is for you to develop an authority blog and for you to develop an ebook or a book and to have it published on Amazon.com and or CreateSpace. And then after that, what we intend to do, or what we will do on one of the webinars is talk about how you're going to use the book to promote your business. Right? Not just how you promote the book, but how will you use the book to promote your consulting business? Right? How will you use it? How will you take that book and use it as leverage to get you in to discuss your services with other people? So that's what we're going to be discussing. Webinars and videos. Now, on your fire sale page, as well as some of the other tabs on the membership site, you do have access to PR and promotional instruction. In other words, I've spoken with PR, or I've done webinars with PR experts, and you really want to take a close listen to just about all the webinars that I did or calls that I did with promotional experts, because these are going to be the folks who are going to help you to take that book and help you to get your own exposure so that it will work for your business. Now, the goal of all this, as it always is to get customers looking for and chasing after you. Okay, so that's what we're going to do in that second part of the course. There are going to be 4 webinars. Okay, in webinar 1, we're going to discuss, and I'm going to show you the software. Right, I'm going to show you the software, and I'm going to give you a week to kind of play with it and learn how to use it. In week 2, we're going to do organization. So we're going to take your content and we're going to organize it so that you can start rewriting it or having it rewritten. But the most important factor is going to be for you to choose your niche and for you to start organizing the content that you are going to use. Now, in week 3, we're going to show you how to do or how to outsource the writing, right? How to outsource the writing or to do the writing. Now, quite honestly, if you are going to be really concerned about this book, and you should be, you don't want to go and get the cheapest person that you can get in order to rewrite this book. Now, I'd love to do the book for you. I may not be able to do it just because I may not have time and I may not have bandwidth in order to do it for you, but definitely you want to find someone that knows the offline business, not just a writer, because there are nuances to writing a book that you can use this book, and this book should be one long sales letter for you. See, if it's written right, it should be written like it should serve the same purpose as a sales letter. It ought to tip the scales to your favor, saying to people, I'm an expert and you'll want to work with me. And so finally, we're going to talk about, in the last webinar, we're going to talk about publication and promotion. And again, when we talk about promotion, I'm not just talking about promoting the book. Now, you can have a book launch and you can have a book signing, but none of that stuff's necessarily going to give you any more recurring income. See, the point of your doing this book is to enhance, right, your ability to generate higher fees on a recurring basis. Now, if you're not doing that, then yeah, you can do a lot of cool stuff, right? You can create some information products and do some other things, but if it doesn't necessarily lead to your getting higher fees for recurring income, then in terms of the book, you're not necessarily doing it to be a better consultant. You might be turning yourself into an information marketer, which is fine, just so that you'll know. If your desire is to be a better consultant, generating higher fees, you want to use this book to promote your business. And of course, as I promised, this doesn't necessarily have to do with the course. A lot of you, I gave this course away so that I gave along with that, you can invite your spouse. Quite frankly, I'll tell you that the person who's going to benefit from this most will be your college students if you can get them interested. Right now, I don't know about you, college students are routinely broke, right? And I don't know, maybe you've got endless pockets to continue to distribute your hard-earned money to your college students. If you do, more power to you. However, okay, if you're still a little bit limited and you want them to slow down their requests for money, then this will be a good session for you to come to, and or to invite your college students, and or to invite your significant other, whoever's doing the shopping. It is a bonus webinar, and you will enjoy it. Okay. I'm also going to be doing throughout the course. Now, these are not necessarily required. You're going to get notice of my YouTube videos that I'll be doing here for the folks in Central Pennsylvania. I'm going to be doing some live stream videos. Okay, so you'll get notice of those in case you want to come to those on my Blog Talk Radio show. And of course, now one thing I'm going to be doing in the next 2 days, right? Maybe tomorrow and into Monday, I might do a repeat. And this is going to be just for my subscribers. Now, for those of you who have high school students and college students and spouses or significant others, and you don't necessarily have their undivided attention or support for what you're doing, I'm going to be doing a special live webinar to explain to them internet marketing and the benefits. Now, there's not going to be anything for sale. They're not going to be able to buy anything, right? So you can invite them with, I'm not going to be trying to sell them anything. What I'm going to be trying to sell them on is what you do every day and the benefits of it, so that maybe they might want to be able to find their own space in learning to do information marketing. I'm going to be doing that on a live stream, and I might do one tomorrow. I might do another on Monday. Now, this is just for my subscribers, and you may not benefit from it because most of the things that will be on this webinar will be things that you already know. However, if you have a high school student or a college student and you want to start talking to them about issues of entrepreneurship, you will want to have them at this live stream, and I will be sending out an email about that tomorrow. So you want to be on the lookout for it tomorrow. Again, this will be for your college students. If you want to invite other college students to it, you can. Now, why do you might say, now, I've already tried to talk to my kid about this stuff. He doesn't have any interest in it. Here's what I'll tell you after having worked with teenagers for 13 years, right? It's not personal with you. It's just the fact that you said it. And sometimes your kid doesn't want to hear it from you because you said it, not because you're uncool, not because they don't like you. It's just because you said it. And I can probably say the same thing that you've been saying for years, and they'll be willing to pay attention because I said it, right? Because I said it and then you didn't. Okay, so that is what we will be doing on that live webinar. Okay. Let's see, looks like my screen is stuck here. Okay, somebody says my screen is stuck. So let me see if I can kind of reset this here. Okay, it looks like my screen is stuck there. GoToWebinar is having a few problems, but that is okay. We will just trudge right through it here. Okay, so last up, I'm pretty much finished anyway. You won't be able to see some of these slides on the screen, so I'll try to describe them to you in the very best way that I can. Okay, now one of the questions that has come up is where can I find everything? And you can obviously find everything for the course by going to gainmindshare.info and logging in. And for this course in particular, okay, if you go to the Fire Sale tab, you will be able to find everything that you need there. Okay, now obviously if you want to hire us out, you can see our publish rates at gainmindshare.net. Okay, so you can see all of our published rates there. In terms of getting your books written, okay, for our services, in terms of our 2012 pricing, we write the book for you from scratch. It's 5 cents per word. Just kind of talk to us about your project, and we'll see if it's something that we can take on. We can also co-author the book for you, with you. Okay, and we can write the very same thing, but by allowing us to add ourselves to your book, we'll just about cut your pricing by 40%. So basically, by allowing me to be your co-author, okay, there is a way for you to have your book written at a reduced rate. So that's definitely something that you'll want to check into before our 2012 pricing turns to 2013. Now, the last thing, you've probably seen an email from me, is our book, Volume 1, that we're going to be putting out in February or March, called the Independent Business Marketing Bible. And basically, we're going to be highlighting 12 to 15 marketers, and they're all going to have a chapter in this book. That chapter is also going to include an audio interview on our radio station, as well as an excerpt in an audio book that I'll be doing the reading for. Okay, and so obviously, because you're only contributing one chapter that I'll be writing, your cost is reduced even more. Now, in about 2 days, the cost of that program, or not 2 days, maybe about a week when the affiliates start to promote the offer, It's going to cost $397. However, for those of you who are on my subscriber list, between now and 2013, which is going to be about another 3 days, you can get in that program for $97. Okay, so if you're interested in being one of the authors, okay, obviously you will be an author contributor. Your name will show up in Amazon. You will be able to have this on your author page. Okay, your cost will be $97 to contribute a chapter, which you're not really even going to be contributing. I'm going to be doing the writing for you anyway. So it's going to be reduced even more for you, and there are some built-in advantages. So we've got something for everyone in case you would like to have your book written, and you want to have it written by someone who's an expert in offline marketing, and that is certainly something that I'll be more than willing to do for you. So that is for, those are our writing services. Next event, we're going to be doing another orientation call just like this one on January 3rd at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're also going to be doing Laurel's couponing webinar. That's another bonus at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time the next night on Friday. Okay, January 4th, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at 9 p.m. January 4th, Laurel's going to be doing her couponing webinar, and she's going to be showing you how she just picked up a laptop computer today. Don't ask. I don't know how she did it, but she's going to be talking about some of those things. You can get the links to register by going to the Fire Sale tab. Now, you will need level 3 access in order to do that. So if you were one of those who made your purchase of the Fire Sale over the weekend, you certainly do have access to that. If you did purchase the Offline Fire Sale 2.0, but you do not have access, please contact me. Be happy to give you level 3 access so that you'll be able to get access to the replays as well as the links to the webinar. And again, just mentioning to you, tomorrow I'm going to be doing a live stream, and that live stream is going to be for your college students and high school students and your significant others, and I'm going to be explaining the basics of information marketing. That's not what I'm going to call it, but I'm going to make you look good. So make sure to invite your college students and your spouses to this call. And again, remember, it's not that I'm any cooler. I'm definitely not better looking than you are. I'm going to be explaining something that you may have tried to explain, but it's more difficult for you to do it because you're you. Okay, I'm going to say the same thing you've been trying to tell them about how cool the stuff that you're doing is, and hopefully some of them are actually going to get it. Some of them are going to start to pick it up, start doing themselves, and some of them will just respect you more for what you do. And then lastly, both Laurel and I will be starting our Harper Academy podcast. That's going to be for those of you who are interested in family-based business. And again, you'll be able to join us during the week of January 10th. And then Gain Mindshare Radio will be back on the air during the week of January 10th, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So with that, thank you very much for being here. And again, I will be doing this orientation webinar again. Same thing, January 3rd at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Pick up your links in the Fire Sale area of the membership site. So with that, thank you. Have a great day and a pleasant tomorrow. Take care.